Is the falloff an instant classic? That's what this video will answer for you. Because to be completely objective, I am recording this before the album has come out. So use this video as a checklist. Did J. Cole live up to these expectations? Alright, just a disclaimer. In no way am I trying to put any limitations on his creative process. I am also not saying that these are the only ways to achieve classic album status. In all honesty, this is just the most straightforward method that I see. J. Cole, ignore the part of your brain that made grippy. Please, for the love of God, you have to spare us. I need you to dig deep, channel that feeling you had when you thought you let Nas down. And please, just don't commit any more thought crimes. That's all we're asking. I need you to use that moment where you thought you were being a disappointment as motivation. Please, Jermaine. Use it as fuel, the same way that Batman did when he watched his parents die. There was nothing wrong with the original sound you had. Collectively, who are we blaming for this? Even after everything that he's been through, even after the apology, this was the lowest moment of the Cole fandom. It's like when J. Cole deleted his diss track, Kendrick took away his rapping ability. I'm gonna proceed by reading a few of the lyrics from the song Grippy so that you understand the gravity of the situation. Grippy. I call her that because it's grippy. She gonna chew on the stick like it's Wrigley's? Oh no. Yeah, believe it or not, like it's Ripley's. But if you thought that was bad, it just keeps getting worse. Pussy so good, I just had an epiphany. She said she was gay until I slayed. Now she's strictly dickly. What the fuck am I doing with my life, man? Actually, one more for good measure, because if I have to hear this again, then so do you. Like, bitch, I'ma send all your kids to Disney. Like, I want to feel like I'm touching your kidneys? I'ma pay a little extra and make sure they meet Mickey? Oh no, you're going to jail for this. She thick in the hips, she a hippie. I need to point something out because it's been a pet peeve of mine forever. You have a wife and kids, bro. Don't think that we forgot. You're talking about adding a girl's number in your phone as grippy. And no judgment, you do you, but is that how you talk to your wife? Is that all she offers in the relationship? Or are you cheating on your wife? And if this is all just some elaborate fantasy devoid from reality and you're just storytelling, that's cool and all. But I'm sorry, you have told better stories about sex. This isn't even clever social commentary. This isn't like on No Role Models when you said I came fast like 911 in white neighborhoods. That one was kind of a thinker. You were talking about systemic injustice and bias while in a sexual encounter. This one, I don't want to think about at all. I love your art too much to see you go out like this. Song Wet Dreams is another example of how you are a fantastic storyteller who is capable of talking about sex and not making it this unintentionally weird. The reason that I'm so passionate about this is that J. Cole was such a formative artist in my life, and when I was younger I used to point to the people around me and be like, hey guys, look at some of the incredible profound things this guy has to say. You've kind of robbed me of that with this song, man. So from one music fan to another, I'm just trying to manage the expectations of this album. This is more of a bucket list of some of the things that I would want to see on the falloff for it to be successful. By implementing some of these changes, J. Cole would be able to address the critics and his fandom at the same time. Remember, I'm not the king of music and you're entitled to your own opinion. I'm not trying to censor this man or limit his creative output. I'm just a fan writing a fanfiction wish list for an album that I'm really excited about this year. Think we can all get behind that? The hallmark of a classic album is consistency. This might not be the first thing that you think of, but sonically on every classic album, tone is set with the first song. And as such, a consistent and concise level of quality is expected with this release. There is one notable exception to this rule. If you create, and I mean really create, a new genre of music with a body of work. If you create or reinvent a sound that no one has experienced before in this particular way, and this album is so groundbreaking in its influence, you likely have a classic that has aged like fine wine. Only these projects that are universally recognized as groundbreaking can have fluctuating levels of quality track to track. For J. Cole, I think that this route is highly unlikely. I love his music, but I don't think that he's about to reinvent rap. So, in that case, he needs to bring quality with every single song he includes. So what do I even mean by this? Well, for one, he needs to say a lot without saying a lot. J. Cole needs to find his depth and brevity. Now, am I a little hypocritical with my own content? Who's to say? But everything that is included on the album should either be thematically or sonically interconnected. Every song should complement or build on the song before. As you know, it's a lot easier to be a backseat driver. The reason these expectations are so high is because he's personally set the bar high. The J. Cole fandom knows what he's capable of. There was a point in time where he was legitimately considered the top contender in hip-hop. If you were to follow the formula of some artist and release a 40-song deluxe album, there would be wide variations in quality. The scatterplot data would be all over the place. As such, there are going to be at least some songs that are significantly better than others. Having more songs opens yourself up to more criticism because you're not likely to please everyone with 40 different songs. Likely there's going to be at least one miss, and that's not really the fault of the artist. There's a reason why Pusha T's 2018 album Daytona is widely revered as a classic. It's only 7 songs, which only leaves 7 opportunities for mistakes. He demonstrated the ability to edit himself thoroughly and only keep the essential material. But I guess, from a different point of view, if we waited several years for Cole to release an album and then he just gave us 7 songs, I think some fans would be enraged. Notably, Daytona was produced by one of J. Cole's nemesises. That's not a word, but we're going with it. Daytona was produced by J. Cole's nemesis, Kanye West, which leads us to our next section. Throughout his career, J. Cole has done a fairly good job of balancing commercial sounds and a true artistic expression. Many people recognize that his creative process is more hands-on than the average musician. He takes an active role in the production of many of his biggest songs. This ability to transcend different mediums is his superpower. The presence of quality J. Cole production will be a key ingredient in determining whether the falloff is a classic. Unlike some artists, he doesn't hog all the beats for himself. He actually produced some of my favorite songs on other projects. He took an active role in creating Mac Miller's Hurt Feelings and Kendrick Lamar's High Power. Another personal favorite of mine is Corday's R&P with Anderson .Paak. He's kind of an underrated powerhouse in the industry. People don't give him his flowers for his production, but he's done work with Young Thug, Janet Jackson, and Wale. And of course, he's made meaningful contributions to his protege, JID. It's worth noting that sometimes his beat selection is a little unconventional. What do I mean by this? He actually made a song by YouTubing, I kid you not, J. Cole type beat. Like he just typed that into his search browser and then waited to see what came up. Then actually released a song that a fan made the production for. It's funny how fans draw inspiration from their favorite artists, but then those artists are also driven to create by their fans. This is kind of like a life imitates art, art imitates life kind of thing. Imagine you were a television filmmaker who released the first 2 episodes of a new show. And then, because you weren't quite sure how to wrap this thing up, you went on YouTube and looked up fan theories and then just integrated those plot points into the show. Either way, when J. Cole thinks outside the box, cool things often happen. My concern comes from the quantity of the project. J. Cole's song Track 2, Disc 2 has confirmed that there's a second disc accompanying this project. I don't think this will necessarily make or break it. To his credit, J. Cole has shown that he's been able to be very judicious in the past. So many people are living paycheck to paycheck, and we're either looking for a form of escapism or a form of action. And that's where J. Cole can come in. In order for the falloff to be a classic, it has to be a concept album. J. Cole needs to take big risks for a big reward. While his concept albums like KOD haven't always been perfectly received, they are necessary for him to push himself. I love albums that contain subtle details. Like on the new Weeknd project, Hurry Up Tomorrow, Weeknd describes that this is his last album before he retires. As a result, the instrumental from the last song connects perfectly with the first song that he has ever released when they are played back to back together. Little details like that are just so cool. Little details like that keep you coming back for more. They give the album texture. On Kendrick Lamar's most commercial release, Damn, the album was instructed to be played both forwards and backwards, with lines of audio that could be played in reverse. Even if an album isn't that deep, the mystery and extra effort that it takes someone to understand it makes them feel like the process to listen to it was worth the effort. My favorite thing ever was the fan theories surrounding the song Hotel California. Everyone thought that was this deep metaphor for purgatory or lust and temptation, but then the band just came out and was like, dude, we were just having fun and made a song that we thought sounded cool. There's no meaning, but the aura of that song was so heavy. J. Cole really has to commit to an angle. He can't have one line directed at Kendrick and then the rest be this interpersonal thing that's just specific to his life experience. If you're talking about things in the real world, then you gotta talk about other things in the real world. I want a follow-up song about your fight with Diddy. I wonder if he's gonna express any more opinions about Jay-Z and Kanye. now that their controversies have taken over public discourse. It would be cool if he talks about how he sees his heroes in a new light now, or if he still resonates with the perspective he had as a young boy looking up to these heroes, or if he believes that you can separate the art from the artist. I wonder if he's going to talk about AI and the distorted perception of truth now. If he doesn't commit to a new angle and plays it safe, it will be hard to label this album as a classic. It might be hard to differentiate it from other albums in his discography. I want him to do some world building. The music has to be relatable. It has to resonate with people on some level. You know when people make a list of rules and then they say that the last one is to have fun and you roll your eyes because you're not a toddler? Well, this is actually a rule for J. Cole if he wants The Fall Off to be a classic album. His passion, drive, grit, and determination have to show through the production of this album. He has to demonstrate that he is invested in the subject matter and still has more to say. There can be no filler, and as long as he is still enjoying the process of creating and still enjoys rapping, there is a lot of hope that this album will be remembered well.